Welcome to the Mount Pleasant podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
This is the Mount Pleasant podcast. I'm your host, Brian Cleary, and all thanks to the great people of Mount Pleasant Magazine, I get the honor, the privilege of introducing you to Mount Pleasant, the people who make it such a special place to do business, to work, and even to live. We're introducing you to Mount Pleasant's best on the Mount Pleasant podcast. You watch TV, you watch movies, you see a retirement community that is illustrated on the screen, the big screen, the small screen. A lot of times that's a photo of a bunch of older people. They're on couches, their chairs, they're watching TVs. Is that an accurate portrayal of what retirement living is these days? Let's find out. We'll talk to some experts today. I'm Brian Cleary. So glad you've joined us for today's Mount Pleasant podcast. The Senior Property Manager at Restore at Carolina Park is with us. Amie Dufek. Amie, is that accurate, what we see sometimes on TV and the movies in terms of older people and how they're living today?
I think that's how it's been depicted in the past. And that's very much what people, have a perception of. But that is just not the case that we are seeing here at Restore at Carolina Park. And so we're excited to tell a little bit about what we do here and how we're experiencing those later years differently in a better way.
So it is 2023. Amie, why don't you jump in and define senior living? In 1960 was one thing and 1980 was another. What's senior living in 2023? Senior
living is a completely different ball game now. So in active adult apartment living, so we cater to 55 and better here at Restore at Carolina Park. But it is a new chapter of vibrancy where people are not downshifting. In fact, we are finding that our residents are entering into a whole new, very vibrant chapter of their lives. So we're just very excited to be a part of that chapter.
So we talk about active living. We hear that phrase a lot, active living. Does that mean, okay, instead of playing bridge, I'm playing shuffleboard? Again, I'm going for the old stereotypes, but I think the point just being made, what is active living today for someone who is 55 and up?
This is someone that may or may not be still in the workforce. For individuals that come to, possibly like they want to travel more. They want to experience a whole new set of interests. They want to write their memoir. They want to, have a lock and leave type lifestyle where we get to take care of all of the aspects of living with a completely maintenance-free living experience. And then they get to go enjoy that. They get to explore new sociability and friendships. They get to travel. They get to experience new avenues as far as fitness, and so we are very excited to be a part of that. So they come to us. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
They come to us, kind of as an open book. They might be selling their home, and their kids and their grandkids identify that, hey, now is the time to go ahead and do that. And so that they look to have a next chapter. And so being that we are apartment living, that we get to take care of all of the aspects that they no longer have to mow the lawn and they no longer have to do all the maintenance and all of that. So it frees up their future and we help them fill those gaps.
Well, let me use that to segue into your partner with us, Nicole Spencer. She is the Lifestyle Fitness Director at Restore at Carolina Park. So Nicole, take me through the process here. When you say fitness, we're probably not talking, or maybe we are, hey, we're going to train for a marathon, or, oh, I'm just lifting a $5 dumb, a 5 pound weight. What is fitness and what does that mean for someone who's a resident there?
So we have a variety of age of residents and a variety of active levels. So we try to cater the programming to accommodate everybody's needs. I've even had some people who they've moved here and they're like, nah, we've never exercised before. Why would we start now? And I'm like, because we're an active living community and I'm going to make sure that you take part in all. And they have, and they've found like, wow, this is fantastic. So it's, anything from, water aerobics to pickleball. We have different classes that work on balance. Our Tai Chi class is one of their absolute favorites. We just started belly dancing. So we try to make it very diverse that accommodates to everybody's needs. And we brought in a guy that taught ballroom dancing. So just a lot of different programming. So it accommodates everybody.
Podcasting has exploded in popularity, especially local podcasts. As of 2022, 62% of Americans have listened to a podcast. 38% have listened in the last month. 26% in the last week. The podcasting audience is booming with no signs of slowing down. Call the podcast hotline to be featured on these podcasts or to receive information about podcast marketing. Call 843-530-0403 or visit carolinapodcasts.com.
You're listening to the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
If I come live in the community, you're not going to force me to do belly dancing.
No, we don't force you, but we highly encourage them to just try it. I always say my rule of thumb has always been try something 3 times. If you don't like it, then I'll be like, okay, fine. It's not for you. We'll find something else to do. And
Nicole, maybe you could tell me the secret behind this, because pickleball is the hot sport now. It's just exploding. What is it about pickleball that makes it so fun, so interesting, so people want to just be a part of the pickleball game these days?
Well, I think a lot of it is maybe previous people who played tennis before, and it's harder for them to move around the court like they did when they were younger. So pickleball allowed them to still play a racket sport and enjoy an activity outside. It's a lot of fun. So that's all I can chalk it up to, is that it's just fun. And I don't know why it's taken off like it has, but it's great to see something new. And we've had some instructors come in and help them learn so that they're, playing it the right way and not injuring themselves and that kind of thing. So it's great. It's been good.
It's one of those lifestyle activities that you can enjoy at Restore at Carolina Park. That's what we're talking today. We're talking about retirement, which is a whole different ballgame these days. So we've called on some experts, our friends at Carolina Park, to join me, Brian Cleary, today on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive as we introduce you to the people, places, and things that make Mount Pleasant the special town it is. And Amie, as our senior property manager, some people may not even know that Restore at Carolina Park is there, because you drive up 17, Carolina Park isn't on 17, but really the community is in a terrific location.
It is. We're very excited where we are, because you are close enough to get out to the beaches of Isle of Palms in about 15 minutes. You're close enough to really exciting restaurants, shopping, cultural sites, amazing parks with trails. And then you're also very close to get to downtown. But yet we're kind of nestled up here in beautiful Carolina Park, just past the Costco. So we let people know that, just keep going a little bit further and then we're back here. The neighborhood is an amazing network where families are coming together here. A lot of times the grown children and grandchildren are already nestled here in this area. And so they're looking to have friends and family move from other parts of the country or downsize or right size, as we call it. So we have a great place for them to do that here right in the neighborhood.
And it's now, of course, North Mount Pleasant, because you've got the Costco there, you've got the Walmart, you've got Park West, so much going on. So someone who is watching, listening to our podcast is a little bit interested. Maybe I want to become part of that residential community. What's the first step I need to take if I'm thinking about Restore at Carolina Park?
First step, you can do it right from the comfort of your home. You can pull up our website, which is restoreapts.com. So restoreapts.com, or you could give us a call, 843-633-2856. We have an amazing team here. So we could get you some information before you come out, but otherwise we can do virtual tours. If somebody does not live in our area, we can do that as well. Otherwise, we invite you to come out and experience it firsthand. There is so much vibrancy and so much fun that we have going on every single day here at Restore. So you'd really get a firsthand experience by dropping by to see us. We're available 7 days a week.
And set me up with a timeline, won't you? Because if I've got to move, maybe sometimes in a couple of weeks, I've got to find a new apartment, to find a new place to live. With retirement communities, it might be a little different. So if it's for me, maybe it's for my mom and dad, I'm thinking about, is this something I need to do 6 months, a year in advance, or could I come see you on Friday and move in the next week?
You absolutely could. So we are a traditional style apartment living. Where there isn't necessarily a deadline. If you come by today and find the perfect fit for you or your family, You go through the application process, and then the apartment can be ready for as soon as the next day. Otherwise, you can drop by, and then we can plan farther ahead as well. You could go on a wait list, but we can absolutely plan in advance as well.
And Nicole, in terms of what's on the facility and fitness, am I going to find a big pool, a big gymnasium? Do you find yourself taking groups over to Park West where there might be a pickleball court? What is it in terms of what's there and what you might take me to?
So we have a beautiful amenity center that has a state-of-the-art gym with all the top-notch equipment, treadmills, ellipticals, fitness or weight training machines. And as part of their residency here, then they usually meet with me and can do like an initial orientation, so I can set up a program based on just what their needs are. Then we have a beautiful kitchen area and like kind of the lounge areas where they spend a lot of their time. We have a cooking club that does things in there. We throw a lot of really fun events, wine tastings, so that space. And then we have another room that is more just for group fitness classes. So that's where all of those take place. We have a treatment room that we bring in massage therapists, hoping in the future to offer some other things, maybe acupuncture. Our programming is molding as our residents move in, because we just want to like bring things that they're interested in. So we ask for their input a lot on what they're wanting to see. They're full of great ideas. So then we just kind of are molding it around their needs at the moment. We have a beautiful movie theater, so we show a weekly movie, and then they're also welcome to go in there at any time and use the movie theater with friends, which they do a lot. And then an activities room, which is where our crafting, and we have a partnership with Roper St. Francis. So we've had a lot of different doctors and things come in and give talks on topics that appeal to them. Then we have a beautiful pool, which we just had a really fun kickoff to summer party last night with the DJ and everything. We do water aerobics out there. So pickleball courts, we have 2 pickleball courts. We have a putting green, dog park. We even have a little amphitheater that we can bring in bands and musicians to play. So we have quite a bit. There's not a lot of things for them to do around here.
So when you talk about you're the fitness lifestyle director, those are similar but 2 different things. And it sounds like on the fitness side, you're able to put together something on an individual basis, not, hey, everybody's going to jump rope today. This is what you should do to get yourself in shape.
Yes, I've been in the fitness world for over 30 years now. And so that was my background before I came to this. And I just have the privilege of also being able to coordinate all the other aspects of life for them too. And it's been so much fun. I've been with Restore since it was being constructed. So I saw the first person move in, and they've just created so many great, I always say I have a whole bunch of new moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas that take good care of us all. So it's wonderful.
And it seems as if on both the fitness and lifestyle side, you offer a lot of different programs, a lot of different activities, but all these are voluntary. Hey, I want to be at the wine tasting, but I don't want to swim in the pool. I'm okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. They all just do what they are comfortable doing. And obviously we encourage them. Like I said, I encourage them to step out of the box a little and try something new. And, usually they find out, wow, this is fantastic. But we respect, them, whatever they're comfortable doing.
We're talking about retirement, what you'll be doing in retirement, and active living here on the Mount Pleasant podcast. I'm Brian Cleary. Thank you so much for joining me. This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive. We're just talking about Mount Pleasant, and one of the places you may not be aware of is Restored Carolina Park. And joining us today, the Senior Property Manager, Amie Dufek, and also Nicole Spencer, who's the Lifestyle Fitness Director there. Now, Amie, how about doing this? Obviously, it's a retirement community, but we're talking about what age are we starting in terms of residents?
So at least one individual that comes to live here must qualify as being 55 or better. And so that is just part of our qualification process, being an active adult apartment community. But we are the type of setting where we're kind of the step before somebody isn't necessarily needing care. An individual doesn't need the structure of meals. They're still quite active, quite independent. So in an active adult apartment community setting like Restore at Carolina Park, we have the answer kind of the step before that. We have beautiful neighbors around us that do offer a bit more structure, but we are the answer for those that aren't quite there yet. And they're still very, very active in wanting to have a different type of setting than home ownership, but without all of the structure of traditional senior living settings.
And you mentioned a little bit before, but maybe we could deep in a little more on this. So there are some people who would be local people who go, hey, I'm living in North Charleston now, but I'm going to move to Mount Pleasant, retire. But you're also seeing that people from the dreaded Ohio or Northeast or whatever are coming down as well. So you've got a pretty mixed community there?
Absolutely, yes. We hear all different types of stories. Of course, Charleston and Mount Pleasant has its own gravity, has its own pull. It's an absolutely stunning place to live, as we all know. So we often have people that may just be picking us as the place that they want to retire. We have the snowbirds that want to trade their snow shovel for a sand shovel. And so they're coming to kind of thaw out. We have individuals where this is their second home, where they may still have their primary home in different areas of the country and they want to be down here, but they don't necessarily want to just do an Airbnb rental. So we do offer less than 12-month leases. The shortest we do is 3 months, but we can do anything between 3 and 12-month leases to cater to those types of settings and individuals. And then we have people that their friends and family might have migrated here for work, or life has brought them here. And so they want to be closer to the kids and the grandkids. So we want people to know what we are, that we have a great setting here, that people come from all different walks of life. And so it's a great mix of individuals from all over the country.
I think in places like yours, people would assume that you could take me through a typical day because every day is the same, breakfast served at 8, you do this, but it doesn't seem like this is that at all. You're going to just live your life however you want to live it.
It is. It thrives. There is so much laughter in our space any given day. So when people come to visit us, you will see people around. There's individuals that, no matter what day or time of day it is, that there's always somebody around doing something. So it's a really exciting place to be.
Nicole, beyond, let's say, pickleball and wine tasting, because they both sound really awesome, give me one or two things that the residents you think have really gravitated to and have become some of the fun things that you're able to bring them in and share with them as far as your role as the fitness lifestyle director.
Yeah, we have every Monday morning, we do like kind of a coffee talks thing that they really, they'll all meet up. Usually there's like a walking club that gets together and then they'll all meet up and just catch up with it. It's a great time for our new residents too, to kind of come in and meet each other or introduce themselves to each other. Every Wednesday, I know you said not the wine tasting, but every Wednesday they do have like a resident meet and greet happy hour. So it's not necessarily wine or not necessarily drinking going on. I mean, we have several residents that don't even drink. So it's more of just a social thing. So the Wednesday night, and they bring just an appetizer or something to share, and then they just get together and share stories about each other or introduce themselves and start making new friends. But we have such a wonderfully eclectic group, like just to sit and listen to their stories. Yeah. And we started a resident speaker series every month where we try to focus in on one of our residents. We have someone who was a POW, we have another guy who was a rodeo rider. I mean, their stories and their pasts are just so very interesting that it's been fun for everybody to see and get to know them better that way too.
And so even for an active living community, because a lot of times when people think retirement, they're thinking assisted living, and that's not, this is the step before that. But are there health things and people can feel comfortable coming to Restore at Carolina Park, know they'll be taken care of in those kind of ways?
Yeah, we also have some partnerships with several different physical therapy places around where they'll have contact with therapists that they feel comfortable with, and they'll actually come right to our property and work in the gym with them. Same with the home health care is very prominent right now, and so we have lots of different. They'll come in and do lunch and learns, and that way people can get to know them, and then they'll just come right to their, like whether they need them to take them grocery shopping or run errands for them, whatever they need, take them to an appointment. we definitely have resources like that we can provide them with too. I mean, and we do have a lot of people who have relocated. We call them baby chasers, that they're here. They're here because their kids, like Amie said, and their grandkids are here. So, even if they need someone to cut their hair, or, we try to help as much as we can, direct them, be available. That's why I think it's so wonderful to have, a lifestyle person on staff. You don't necessarily see that all the time. And just because I feel like I can be their concierge as well as their fitness instructor, as well as their fun, they call me someone got me a t-shirt that said, what did it say? It was so funny.
Come on now, don't leave us hanging.
Shenanigans coordinator. That's what that is.
We'll expect to see that on your email signature from now on, Nicole. So, Amie, let me close out here and let me tap into your expertise with this, because there's a point in time where people begin to think about making these kind of decisions. Not everybody's always comfortable. They're not certain. So give me some advice and tell me, what should people look for? What is it that I should be concentrating on in terms of, boy, I'm at that time, I'm not sure where to pull the trigger. Can you help me out?
Absolutely. Well, we offer 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes here. So while there are cottage homes in the area that might be for purchase, we are the lock and leave lifestyle, where it's completely maintenance free. So it's traditional apartment living with just an age focus and a very vibrant lifestyle calendar. So when people are starting to think, oh, gosh, is now the right time, talking to friends and family and making those life decisions, people will start to come to visit us before they even put the house on the market, because as soon as the house might be on the market, they're going to need to know what's the plan. So people start to think about those things 6 months to a year in advance. But once the time is right, think about, if you're not ready to be into a setting where you need care and you just want to have a really exciting social calendar, meet many different new people, how do you fill your day? And so we do it in many different exciting ways. I think that Restore at Carolina Park would be the place for them.
It just seems like you bring so much flexibility, even from someone who just lives apartment wise. You're getting into a year lease. It really seems like you're acclimating yourself to give me a lot of different options if I'm even just thinking about this.
Absolutely. If you're living in a conventional apartment community and it just doesn't have the right feel, and you might want to be kind of be among others in the same age bracket. So that is a great, answer for those individuals as well that we have here.
And if people want to find out more about Restore at Carolina Park, is the website the best way to go?
Absolutely. That's the first step. So you can see us at restoreapts.com, or you could give us a call at 843-633-2856 and reach out to one of our team members, and we would love to have them come out as well.
It's really what we're going to call the hidden gem of Mount Pleasant. Maybe not a lot of people know about it, but they should and they will now, because that's what we try to do here on the Mount Pleasant podcast. Amie, Nicole from Restore Carolina Park, thanks so much for taking your time today and speak with us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Happy
so
to
much.
be here.
It's what we do here on the Mount Pleasant podcast. In this instance, again, the hidden gem of Mount Pleasant. We're introducing it to you. We're introducing you to the people behind Restore at Carolina Park and the people, places, and things that make Mount Pleasant excitement. Thanks for being a part of it today, the Mount Pleasant podcast with me, Brian Cleary.
Thanks for spending your time with the Mount Pleasant podcast, your community, your podcast. Listen to past and future episodes at mountpleasantpodcast.com.